All right, guys. Welcome again to the Iconic Life podcast, where we gather around the virtual table for real, soulful conversations about what it means to live a life of calling, of wealth, of joy, and purpose. I'm your host, Hannah Elsey. I'm the founder of Agora Wellness. I'm the creator of the Iconicity movement. I call myself a transformation midwife. I'm an overflow activator and a movement builder of a community of visionary women and men who are choosing to lead and live lives they are wildly in love with.
Mm,
Here, we don't do just surface level chatter, we go deep. We talk
mm,
about truth and the kind of stories that remind us that we are limitless when we are walking in our divine purpose and identity. When I say living iconically, here's what I mean by that it's remembering who you were created to be and choosing to live from that place fully and unapologetically.
mm,
It's saying yes to your divine calling, even when it's messy, chaotic, stretchy, and building wealth, legacy, and joy from a place of overflow. It's leading movements, building businesses, raising families, and co creating a life that feels like art with our Creator. Because living iconically means you don't chase a dream, you are the dream. And today we get to dive into that with my guest. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today on our podcast. Thank you for coming. So happy to have you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's such a blessing.
I'm so happy you're here. All right. So again, here, this is our virtual table, right? So I've got my electrolytes and I've got my water. So we just grab our tea or coffee, whatever it is that you have right now. And then we're just going to have a real conversation about what it means to live and create your iconic life.
Yeah.
So I don't have like a real formal introduction way. I like to give you the stage for a minute and have you just kind of introduce yourself to our audience and where you are in the world, what you're doing, and a little bit of that. So go ahead.
Oh, well, thank you. So, my name is Bina Bendale. I have three beautiful children. They are all
Mhm.
autistic. They all have some sort of special conditions. And I'm a firm believer that they chose me to be their mother.
Mm,
Um, And I really do am a very big advocate in the parents with special needs community. Really finding the voice for parents because there's a lot of community support for the children. So I've actually co-created a program specifically for the parents to help them with the grief, the loss, the balance work life, the challenges that they face with it, the medical appointments, the lack of medical appointments, all these
yeah.
different things that are they're silently struggling with, and I've co-created a company called Silent Struggle Solutions, where I embed into large organizations to bridge the gap between corporate wellness and EAP programs, and really giving them that lifetime coaching within 48 hours so they feel more love, heard, and supported, and they
Mm,
feel more seen and become more productive at work. So that's one side. And then the other side is I really teach other coaches and or nurse coaches primarily and people in healthcare how to develop their own wellness program and how to collapse time with that and really be grounded in what you do. So you are empowering other people in your light. And it might not be what I do with parents with special needs, but it might be something else that we can come up with and really teaching and offering that in the corporate wellness space.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. So you said mainly nurses create like businesses that they are
Yeah.
trying to do. Like, yeah, that's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, I guess that's the other term. It's like I'm a business strategist, but I don't like to state that sometimes.
I hear you. I hear you.
You know, it's just like, I always remind myself that I'm a TEDx speaker, but I don't state that often.
Hmm.
And it's like, it says I don't come out with like, "Hi, I'm Bean, I'm a TEDx speaker."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like one of those
You
things where it's just like you do so much and then you're just like, well, these are the two bigger passions of mine. The rest of them are
Yeah.
great and loving
There's so many
and
different pieces. That's actually true because it's funny. I talk about this a lot with different women. Like we are so multifaceted, right? It's
yeah,
not just the one thing, right? Like you said, you're
no,
not just this. And even in what you mentioned, like your different businesses you have, it's very two different things, right? Like it's so beautiful that you're doing all of these different pieces and
yeah,
creating impact in those
yeah.
things. So I think that's amazing. So let's dig a little bit into kind of your your origin story, what brought you to this, right? Because
Mhm.
I think your background is you were a nurse, correct? Or
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep.
So take me back to maybe the moment when you first realized that you weren't going to just continue on with, I want to say, the normal or autopilot life, right? That you're going
Right.
to choose to create something, to build something, right?
Yeah.
And what was happening in your life at that time that maybe kind of was the catalyst for that, or what shifted inside of you that made you say, I'm going to choose this path and do something different.
Mm. Yeah. So this is a story that, you know, I get emotional around every single time I talk about it, just because it's still it still can be a reality. So when my eldest was born, Rohan, he was born with medical conditions. He had severe laryngeal malacia, where if a lot of people
Mm,
don't know, it's just when the vocal cords go around, wasn't growing, was failure to thrive. We were in and out of ICU every 6 weeks, and it was very challenging. So a
yeah.
lot of my maternity leave was in the hospital.
Wow. As
And
a
I had
mama.
severe postpartum. Um, and was he had breath holding spells, which I didn't know what those were, even though I was a nurse. Like he just like stopped breathing on me a couple of times, and I was like,
How
here.
scary.
Super scary, right? We come
Yeah.
in code three, where it comes in, like all these different scenarios. And and to be honest, like he did try to die a couple of times in the process, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I had such severe postpartum that, and it wasn't the one where I don't want to have my child. I was on the opposite end where like no one else can touch my child. And if I touch you, I
Hmm.
think I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that postpartum.
Yeah.
And it was very challenging. So when I went back to work, he was still medically challenged. And I was fighting this balance of like I choose my child or I have to go to work. And I was working at the bedside at this time. I was an ER nurse at this time.
Okay.
And so I had to call off a lot.
Hmm.
And when you work every Wednesday and Friday and you call off every Wednesday and Friday, they called me in because I had a pattern to
Hmm.
being called
Hmm.
off.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if I work every Wednesday and Friday, of course there's a pattern. Like there's no other days I can choose to be called off on. Like let's just talk about that, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And then um they basically told me because I called off multiple times. And remember, in healthcare at this time of the age, you're only allowed to have three incidences
Yeah.
in a
Exactly.
year,
In a
in
year, in a
12
calendar, a rolling
months.
calendar. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. It's so
From
ridiculous.
January to December. So I've already came back. I've called off Wednesday. That's one incident. I've called off a Friday. That's a second incident. I came on the next week or the week after, and I called off on a Friday, which was my third incident in 1 month.
Yeah.
So I've utilized my resources in that sense. So I got sent to HR because now I'm the sick child or the sick nurse that calls off sick all the time. And HR was like, I don't, you have to go to this EAP program, blah, blah, blah. I go there to help with all these stuff. And EAP's like, I don't know how to handle you. I don't know what to do with you, you know?
Mm.
Because I
Wow.
was like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm really confused. I'm like, I have postpartum, which is very severe, obviously, and I can't go to work because my child's in the ICU, like
Right.
in and out. So then there was this conversation about either you choose your job or we can decrease your hours or we put you in a different department.
Wow.
And I was like, well, when I'm the breadwinner and I hold the insurance and my son's legitimately in ICU, I was like, these are not choices I can do. So I was already so stressed out already. And now we've just added that extra layer into my
Another
life.
stressor. Yeah. Oh my
Right.
goodness. Not what you
So
needed at that moment. Okay.
no. So I got really scared. I got what comes in. I tried to manage like, I tried to hide it. My husband had to take days off. My mom helped a lot during that time, but he was also medically fragile, so it's not like I can just drop him to anybody,
Anybody.
right?
Yeah.
At any
Hmm.
time because he chokes and it takes him for 2 ounces, it would take him 2 hours to eat. And then it was just like it was a struggle. You
Yeah.
had to watch it. And so he went back to ICU again. There's this one time he got back admitted. And I remember to this day that I don't know how I did this. I really don't remember, but I would be with my son. I think my mom would watch him during the daytime,
Mhm.
like because my husband, and then I'd come down. I'd go to work between 7 and 11. I'd take my lunch break. I'd go back up to the ICU, be with him for a little while. And then I think my husband's work was able to allow him to be there for I have no idea. I
Yeah.
honestly don't remember
Cloudy,
now.
right? Yeah, I know. You were
Yeah,
just surviving. Yeah.
I was just
Mhm.
in survival mode. And
Yeah.
then I would sleep at the hospital,
Wow.
right? Because at nighttime, like I would sleep there with him because he only slept on me. So he would sleep there. And then I remember waking up in the mornings and then I'd have to go downstairs again. And then finally, I think
Wow.
one of my charge nurses was just like, Bina, what do you like? They're like, is it because they saw the census or whatever they did as charge nurses. And she's like, is your son in the ICU right now? And I was like, yeah. Actually,
Mhm.
he is, and she's like, oh, she goes, why are you here? I said, because
Oh,
I'm
wow.
scared that I'm going to get fired. I've already went to HR. Several other nurses have complained that I'm just like spacious or whatever, the judgment, correct? That
Hmm.
nurses lovely have.
Hmm.
And she told my managers, and then my managers were like, no, go get off the floor. Like she basically took me off the call, and she goes, I'm taking you off for the rest of the week. Like go be with your son.
Wow.
So then when I came back to work, I remember like I came back, I thanked her. I was like, thank you. I really appreciate that. That was really heartfelt. And then she
Hmm.
says, the managers want to talk to you in the back. And I'm just like, here we go. I'm gonna get my but going to get fired. I wanted to say something else, but I'm on a podcast. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get. So I walked in there, and honestly, that moment changed my life.
Mm.
They actually, for the first time, it's really unheard of, but the medical director, the HR was there, and I'm like, I'm fired. I walked in, I was crying, and I'm like, I'm getting
Oh.
fired, right? I was like, what am I supposed to do? And they're like, no, 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 no. Well, like, wait a minute, hold on. They go, no, just sit down. My manager was like, sit down. No, we're like, listen. Actually, it's the complete opposite.
Oh,
And I'm
wow.
like, what? And they're like, we're gifting you 6 months of medical. We're paying for your medical so you don't lose your medical. And we're
Oh,
giving you a leave of absence for 6 months.
wow. Oh, Bina.
Yeah. They go, you
Mm.
just have to come in for 4 hours a shift, technically. And they said, and you can do it at home. Like, we're going to do it where you come in, you can call in, blah, blah, blah. Whatever
Wow.
4 hours you need. And they were like, and
Wow.
we're gonna do this for 6 months. And they were like, and then I cried even more, you know.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and so that is when I really learned that there's compassionate people out there. That's when I really learned that, you know what, if there was just a whole lot of things around that. So in that 6 months, I came back, I healed myself. My son was like a little over a year at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then yes, we still had challenges, but every time I had a challenge with my son, I still remember to this day, both of my managers would be upstairs with me in ICU and would be
Wow.
holding my hand and it's like, you're off. Like
Wow.
they just completely backed off me, which was so nice because that doesn't generally happen.
It does not generally happen. What an
Yeah,
amazing, beautiful
yeah,
example of supporting a woman who is going through, like,
right.
oh my gosh, like it just whew,
Yeah.
got me in my heart there. Yeah.
And that is when after I started going back to work and being more present, there was a lot more kids or parents that, we had a lot of codes, like pediatric codes and all these different
Yeah.
things. I would gravitate towards the parents and really supporting them and then really guiding. And then that's when I was just like, why are we not having a program around this? So I actually developed a
Mm,
program within the hospital to work towards
okay.
the pinks. And everyone's just like, whenever there was a difficult mom or dad, everyone's like, get Bina on them.
Katrina.
She'll calm them down, which is true.
Yeah,
And then
because you
that's really
understood.
how that's when I realized that and then my son was diagnosed as being autistic. I had no idea what that was. I was like,
Mm,
what's this? And I'm like, I may have had a slide in nursing school.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that was it, right? And so then and then I started seeing more autistic children coming into the ER, which
Mm,
they were recently diagnosed or parents were comes in. And then that's when I really figured, I was like, there's a really big gap here.
mm,
If I don't know as a nurse and as a mom, how can I, when I'm talking to these other moms or dads that are just in the thick of things, especially being in the ICU, seeing all these moms just like we're walking, we're like, what are we doing today?
mm.
Like we're trying to just survive.
Survive. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
there was no support for some of them. No groundwork, no community. And
Wow.
then that's when I said, no, there's a bigger thing in life for me to do.
Yeah.
And that was the moment when I realized that that is what I'm meant to be.
Wow. And so then you started your business, the first business, is that correct?
No, so yes, so I actually, yes, so I started Real Life with Special Kids. That's actually my primary, which is part of Silent Struggle Solutions.
Hmm. Hmm.
And really came out with this big support for parents with special needs. I was in the Nurse Coach Collective, and that's when I realized it was, and I have to give credit where credit is due. The Nurse Coach Collective really gave me that missing link of like, ah, I knew everything. I had the business aspect, I had this, I had that. I just didn't know how to implement it, Like
Right.
how do I do this? And then when coaching, I didn't even know what coaching was. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know. I can save your life. I
Yeah.
knew how to save your life very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything in between, like, and then they were like, you've been coaching your whole life and you've been doing this. And that's what really taught. Like when I was in the program, I'm like, I've been doing this for 20 something years now.
Yep.
And they're
Yep.
like, you're so easy to talk to. I'm like, well, yeah, because I talk to strangers every day.
Yep.
Like, I talk to
Literally,
parents
you
every
walk,
day. I
exactly, you walk into a room of strangers in a very vulnerable
vulnerable
slash
space.
stressful time.
Yes,
Yeah. And you instantly have to get on board with them, have to get on board with you, have them trust you and be able to like
exactly.
walk them through yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and you're literally just telling this person or the family member that's having like a cardiac arrest, right? Or they have to be rushed up to cath lab, and you're telling that wife or that partner going, I got him. I will
Yeah.
be down, and I promise you I will have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And talking them through it. And they're like, what, is he gonna die? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm trying if we get him up there fast
Doing my
enough,
best.
but
Yeah.
the chances are like, but it's just like that type of mentality, right? Where you're just it's like you just didn't know you had something in you. And I say this to all nursing out there, like anyone that's listening to that's a nurse or not a nurse and it's in this type of field, you're already doing it.
Yeah.
You've already stepped into your power. You just didn't acknowledge it yet.
Yeah. You just didn't put that name on it, but that's what you're doing, by the way.
So when I acknowledged that, and I made this declaration to myself that I'm going to be that advocate for parents with special needs because the parents don't, now there may or may not be more, but 10 years ago, there was no support out there
Hmm.
for somebody like me. It's just
Yeah.
you figure it out, doctor's offices like here's paperwork, and you're like, what does this mean? It's like, well, this is what it is, and he's disabled, and this is where you're gonna go. And it's just like all these like it was like the mom guilt of like, did I eat something when I was in utero?
Mm,
Did I
yeah.
do something? Was it? And then the fighting between you and your spouse too, right?
Yeah. The
Is it
stress
your genes? Is
attracts
it my
everything.
genes?
Yeah,
Did you fuck up
exactly.
here? Did I mess up here?
Oh my goodness.
Right? But there's a lot of things around that. So when you're going to genetics and you're going through all these things, it's like there's a whole shadow of
Mm,
unforeseen like emotions that pop up,
yeah.
and it's very challenging because you just place it, you suppress it and suppress it and suppress it because you're
Yeah.
just with your child and you're just trying to sleep and you're
You're
just
in
trying
triage.
and
You're
you're just
triaging
like,
life.
okay, he needs to eat and this comes up. Okay, now he needs a G tube. We're in
Yeah.
failure to thrive. Oops, now I'm pregnant again. It's like not an oops, but it's a blessing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
now I'm
But
pregnant again, right? Say, well, I'm gonna
exactly.
come in. Now it's like, okay, now my second child is born. Great. Okay. then now I can say my oops child, love him, but my miracle third, right? I'm 22 weeks pregnant with my third child, and here we are, Rohan's back in and out of the hospital. And I remember telling that that pediatrician, I was like, or that chief who knows us very well, they go, welcome back, you know? Um, that's when we made the conscious decision of like, I can't be doing this every 6 weeks with three children now. Like,
Yeah.
we need to figure something else out. And then that's when we made the conscious decision to have the G tube, you know?
Mm. Yeah.
And I was the one that forced it. He's like, why? I was like, because we're not doing this. Like, we're not gonna aspirate every 6 weeks or something's gonna go and then turns into pneumonia, then it comes up, and like anything
Yeah.
and everything brings me here.
Right. Right. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what
So
I realized.
lots of big things there. My goodness. Um, Whew, there's so much there. I'm like, okay, which one can we unpack? But
Yes, there's a lot.
so looking at walking through something like that, because that literally, I mean, the trauma, it's all the things, right?
No.
Like, 'cause, you went through some massive,
Hmm.
massive transformations, not all great ones, right? But looking back, um, what strengths or maybe lessons did you feel like were born from that season? What things have you cultivated or mined out of that turned into something of a strength for you in your life now?
Oof. The one that I really finds me to be that's coming to presently to my head right now is finding my voice,
Hmm.
because I was portrayed for so long, you are a nurse, you know how to handle this.
Hmm.
And it was always me advocating that I'm a mom. I don't know what is happening. Yes, I'm a medical profession, but when I'm seeing my child in in this level of like seeing him in all these wires and tubes and all this stuff, like I'm not processing.
Yeah, you're a
Like,
mom first.
I'm a
And
mom. And I think me advocating and me utilizing my voice um, really was what really came through, because they kept undermining me on other levels too. They're like,
mm,
"Well, you should know better. Like, don't think of these scenarios because you're a nurse." So, and then they started undermining me too at the same time. You're a nurse, but you should know all this stuff. But because you're a nurse, stop thinking like a nurse. Like, it was so very undermining for me.
yeah.
And it was very challenging to then it's like, am I making this shit up in my head? Like, am
Hmm.
I not doing this?
Hmm.
Like, wait a minute, hold on. His vital signs look like crap. Like, I really do believe that we're going down a different route here, you know?
Right. Right.
And then like advocating for that. And so they're like, no, 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 you're fine. It's fine. And I was like, I don't think so.
Mm,
But okay, so you're trusting, right? You're in trust with the healthcare profession. And I think it's really when I had my when I that's I really learned my voice with that,
hmm.
because
Hmm.
he was given an antibiotic for an ear infection, I believe. Honestly, I don't remember what happened, why I was in the emergency room anymore. But I really don't. And the next day he woke up with hives
Um,
all over. And
hmm.
they were like, "Oh, it's they downplayed it like initially. They were downplaying it. And they were like, "Oh, it's a reaction. It's just this. We'll take him off. We'll start him on something else." And I don't know, this mother intuition really
Yes.
came on board, right?
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
was like, this doesn't seem like that. This doesn't seem like that type of reaction. Like, I would have seen this last night, if it was that type. It ended up being what is it? Not sickle cell, but serum sickness.
Oh, wow.
He ended up having serum sickness.
My
Ended
goodness.
up back in the ICU for serum
And yep.
sickness because it was an
Wow.
antibiotic. And when I got transferred and then I went up, um and then like something happened. I went to work the next, like afterwards, I was off. I went to work, and that same physician that blew me off was like, did I miss serum sickness? And I said, you sure did. And he's like, well, I just thought, I said, you didn't listen to what I stated, which
Hmm.
was that this, because I went to one, yeah.
Yeah.
And so he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I said, and again, coming from now a place of love,
Hmm.
back then may or may not have been from a place of love. Okay. Um, I remember like I was first time I said
Mm.
to a doctor, you almost killed my son.
Wow. Yeah. But you had found that voice and the strength to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. It was harsh. But I think that's what the biggest lesson that I've learned is even if you don't feel like stating it, state it.
Mm.
Even if you
Mhm.
think that it's going to trigger somebody else and you're going to make them upset, um, be unapologetic.
Trusting yourself and that voice that you have and your intuition. You said it. You said earlier that trusting
Intuition.
your intuition. There is something so powerful about that. And
Yeah.
think I think traditionally in our society we've been we push that to the back a little bit.
Yeah.
And I am so big about that with my pregnant mamas, my moms. I'm like, no, listen to intuition. Like it is there
Intuition.
for a reason. Yeah.
There comes in if you feel like your body, especially to all the pregnant women, if you feel like your body is like there's something's just not right, you know? And a lot of doctors are like, "Oh, that's okay, just come in. Let's just do a fetal thing." No, 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 no. I want an ultrasound. I want to see that child. Do you know that this causes I don't care if it causes radiation because my child will be here. Like let's just how many radiations do we really need to have in order for you like I sit behind a car and I open my car door, my windows, and I have more
Right.
exhaust coming out from a
Right.
car than I'm worried about a radiation for a 3 minute ultrasound.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like that's where I'm like, speak your voice. Like, speak your voice. If you feel like there's something wrong and you need that, that's what you need, then go get it.
Yeah.
Because it's
100%.
not, that's another story within itself, but you just don't know what you don't know. And your intuition,
Speaks loud if you listen to it. And it's
it speaks.
so off. I mean, it's right.
Hmm.
Yeah. And especially in your situation, like when you have a mom who is like moms and dads, but moms in particular have a really like there is a connection that you can't get from anywhere else. And so like so many times, like I've had a mom who'd be like, something's just not right, even during pregnancy, right? I have
Yeah.
learned to listen to that because they can't even verbalize exactly what it is, but they know
Yeah.
something is just not right. And every single time, there's
Something's wrong.
been something. Yeah.
Yep.
And
So
from
like
my perspective, like, oh, data wise, like it's okay or it's fine or it doesn't line up. But every single time, right?
yeah,
Like, yeah. And in, yeah, over, multi decades of doing this, I'm like, yeah, I just can't, you can't ignore that ever.
never ignore it.
Yeah.
Never ignore it. How many times I've seen it in the ER as well. Pregnant women coming in saying something's just not right. And they're like, oh, you're fine. We did fetal tones and we did this and we're good. And again,
Yeah.
and then how many times have they came back like 4 or 5 hours later and they've miscarried or something traumatic
Horrifying.
happened. And
Yeah.
it's
And
just,
that is just not, oof,
it's not
yeah,
that we can't solve all the problem. Let me just remind people, like when you follow those
true.
intuition, it's not that we could like justify like having some of those traumatic things not go away,
Right. Because
right?
sometimes we still can't fix it. But yeah, there's, always listen and be heard there. Yeah.
But it's just a place to be heard.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. So, I talked about what it means to like live an iconic life, and we talked about this even before we hit record, right? But living an iconic life is unique to each person, right? Because it's
Mhm.
about who they are and remembering who they are here, like what you're here for, right? What
Yeah,
your calling is, what that is, and so that's very specific to each person. So I
yeah.
always like to ask my guests, like, what does that look like for you on a day-to-day basis? What are some what are the rituals you do, or the practices or habits that you keep in your life, choices that you make, or values that you keep anchored that kind of keep you in the focus of what your passion is, what you're here for, what your calling is?
I just remind everybody that I have very strong boundaries now.
Mm,
And I think that's what keeps me grounded. Um, I utilize my children as my grounding, as my grounders. You know,
Hmm.
when I'm having a bad day, I've been a coach for 5 years. Most people will call me successful. I just call myself being, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people will question. I go, well, how and why? And you, blah, 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 right? And I'm just like, because the, and including my husband, right? My family is my number one priority. And
Yeah.
when they're like, oh, it's you, you should be your number one priority. I said, yeah, and I'm part of that family. It's
Right.
not, it's, oh, yes, I do a lot of self-care, but that comes with a family self-care with
Mm-hmm.
it. Mommy has mommy time. Trust me, mommy time is mommy time. But that's my self-care, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got mommy time. Um,
But yeah, but knowing that your family is also your priority is a way of making you like it fills you up too, right? Like I get that. Yeah.
yeah. And whenever I have a really bad day, or whenever I'm just like there's just things in life that throws you lemons, right? And you're just like, well, lessons learned on that. Okay,
Right. Right.
won't do that again. And I'm not gonna state, I'm not calling anyone out on this one, but I can. And I just want, when I have those moments, all I really want to do is I go to my children and I give them a big hug.
Mm-hmm.
And I sit there and I listen to them and I listen to the bickering and the things and whatever it is. And it brings me so much joy
Yeah. Mm.
because I just remind myself that this is what it's all about. It's for them to have that generational wealth. It's for them to have that other perception of mommy doesn't have to work per se. Mommy is doing different type of work. My kids the other day, when my journal came out, my wellness journal came out, my daughter and my son's like, "Are you famous?" I was like, "No, honey.
I saw that video. It was so cute. I loved it.
Are you famous? You're famous now." And I was like, "No, no, no."
I don't know. In your yeah, in your
You
world,
know?
in your work, yeah, yeah. I thought that was so sweet. Yeah, it's
And
like,
it
oh.
was just like, but it was cute, right? But it
Mhm.
was so
Mhm.
innocent, and it was such a raw video of just me, myself, and just the kids, and the kids' commentaries, like, "My,"
Yeah, it's
and
life. It's beautiful.
it's,
Yeah,
but that's the reality that I live in every single day.
I love it.
And I think that's really where I want every woman and or men, right? To release all this social media fucking bullshit, excuse my language, right? The judgment, the stigma, the should haves, the could haves, I should have done this, I
Yeah.
should have done that, blah, blah, blah. All that emotional garbage, I call it,
Mm,
and live in the moment, not behind a phone.
yeah.
Like, your kids' soccer games, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
and,
Being
I'm like, no, 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 put your phone down
Yeah.
and live in the moment. Me and my husband, when my kids have soccer games or we come up, we actually put a tripod down, so the kid, it follows them. Like we purchase something, so it follows the kids going back and forth.
Nice.
And we just record the whole thing.
Yeah.
And
And you
all the
can be
parents
present.
now know, they're like, oh yeah, the Bendales, they'll record it, don't worry. You know, because it's that present time, right?
Yeah.
Of like being able to live in the moment.
It's a very different experience watching it from here as opposed to behind a screen.
Yeah.
It hit me at one point because I don't remember. I think we were at Disney or something, and I was like recording. I don't know, maybe one of those
Yeah.
like parades, and I was here, 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 and then I just switched out. It was just like the quickest but it was like, oh, it was such a different experience to be
Yes.
live as opposed to the screen, right? And I was
Yeah.
there, but it was a completely different experience. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, put that down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a very challenge. It's a big challenge, but it's something that I coach around and I tell people around is to stay very present. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
if the minute you're in the past, you have anxiety. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, all these different things, all these stuff, right? The minute you're in the future, you're going to have anxiety because you think the world's going to end. But if you stay in the present, all I'm doing right now is having a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
powerful. And the
All
minute I
the
go
power from
to
this
like
moment.
what's going on to like in an hour or 2 hours, I'm in the future again.
Yeah.
But I already, I'm not, I shouldn't have to worry about that. You can plan it if it's all, yes, I had planned my days, yes. But I also know at 3 o'clock, I got to go pick up my kid. But it's not 3 o'clock right now.
Right.
It's, 12:30. And I'm focused strictly only on you.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
what's the challenge.
Yeah. It's a challenge and it's a powerful thing that because that is where the present moment is the power, right?
Yes.
Like you said, that's from where we get to plan for, sure, the future. And like you said, and things like when we get to recreate our past and things like that. But this is the moment from
Yeah.
which we create all the things,
Hmm.
right? Yeah. I love that.
You're consciously, constantly creating
Hmm. Hmm.
in the moment.
Yeah.
And in the moment, if it feels like the 10 minutes feels like an hour, or this conversation, sometimes you like, wow, that it's like feels like we've known each other for like 5, 6, 7 years. Like I've said that to you when we first met. I'm like,
I know.
I felt like I've known you forever, right?
Like, yep, just
It's just
resonated.
that
Yep.
it's that love and that joy and that passion and whatever that energetic exchange, what I say, right? I said
Yeah.
because when you're fully present with somebody, it should feel that way.
Yeah, I
It
agree.
should feel that way. And you want to then that's when you expand time and you can get so much more done because you're not worried about what you didn't do and you're not focused on what could have been what you have to do. You're just focused on what you're doing in the moment. And if
Yeah.
we've just focused on the doing, the should haves and the have tos all go away.
Yeah. Just the being of the moment. I love it.
Mhm.
And I do love you mentioned like expanding into your time there because there that's a powerful thing, right?
Yeah.
Not sticking in the what is that Newtonian time concept where the minutes and seconds, but in that Plutonian, I think,
Yep.
expansion, like you get to expand into your space and it's like, wow, it's so
Yeah.
true though.
Yes.
And if even if I don't know exact, I mean, obviously
It's when we do
it's
a
really hard
quantum
to
leap.
describe it. Right,
Yeah, I mean, I
exactly.
can
But
talk
it's
about a
like,
whole quantum leaping on that, but
yes,
yeah.
exactly. Like, oh, quantum physics gets me going. But like, wow, you
Yeah.
know, if I'm like even this morning, I was taking my daughter to preschool and it was like, oh, I realized as I got in the car, oh my gosh, it's, we're, supposed to be there like right now in 5 minutes kind of thing. It's like, oh, okay. And that's like, hold on a second. I'm not going to look at that time again on my screen. I'm just going to enjoy this beautiful sunshine coming in the window. And we're driving through this lovely neighborhood. My daughter was all about like, oh, the colors of the trees.
Right.
Like literally, I didn't look at the screen again because like we're gonna get
Yeah.
there when we get there. I'm
Yeah, we're
not
gonna
gonna
go there
stress
now.
about it. I'm gonna expand into this moment and we're gonna enjoy it. And you know what? It was a lovely drive,
Yeah.
lots of traffic. I don't know what time we got there, but guess what? When we pulled up, she was so excited to get into the carpool line. The teachers were still there, so it wasn't like we got there so late that they had shut the doors and locked them, right? It was like it was fine, and I got to
Yeah.
enjoy the experience
Yeah.
of being in the moment with my daughter
Yeah.
as we're like going through, and she's like enamored by the colors on the trees changing and all the things.
So
Whereas if I
beautiful.
had been instead focused about, oh my gosh, we're really, I wouldn't have missed all of that.
All of it. That's the
Yeah.
quantum leaps that we talk about in quantum physics, and you're doing these quantum momentum. Is if I slow you down to the presence of the moment, right? You would be surprised with how much you're actually missing in life.
Mm, yeah.
And the minute you realize how much it is, an hour, you can get so much more done when in reality, you're actually collapsing time
Yes.
to to go towards your future.
Yeah. It's so powerful.
Yeah.
Like it's so like it makes me like giddy almost. When I start thinking like getting into quantum stuff. It's amazing, mind-blowing, right? Yeah, I love it. I love it. So I know we talked about a couple of different things that you've created and done, but I'm so curious, what ripples are you seeing in the work that you're doing that you're like maybe most proud of creating in your family, in your work, in your community, like the work that you're doing with other parents? Like what are you most lit up by the work that you're doing?
I like to see the aha moments.
Mm.
I love to see these breakthroughs, whether it's in a business container or in a personal container. There are moments in time when I'm able to, like with just what I was saying, when I'm able to drop people into the present moment and in the present time and just make time disappear and really see the emotions in the full transformations of what they're hiding behind, right?
Mm.
Are you hiding behind letters? Are you hiding behind a program? Are you hiding behind a CEO? Are you behind, what are you hiding behind? And to really expose you for who you truly are and to hold space for that is beautiful.
Yeah.
And in every single part of my business, and when I do a lot of my speaking engagements as well, even when I speak on stages, I
Yeah.
collapse time because I drop them into the speed of the moment, of only the moment. And it's so beautiful to see how many people, some get it, some don't. But we're all people here, okay?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
85% will walk away with like, what did you do? Like,
Mm.
what? It was just this outer body experience that I can't understand and I don't know how to explain. But it's just like I give these people these outer body experiences and they just feel an instant shift. And it's that's what gives me joy.
Yeah.
That is what fuels me. That is what, and if I do that three or four people and I don't do it ever again, great, because I've already filled up my cup. Now, everything for me, honestly, is just an added bonus.
Mm. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
How do you see your work, your calling, maybe evolving in this next season that's coming up? Do you have new projects coming up? Like, what do you see yourself going?
How do I answer this one? I see myself still co-creating in the spiritual business world, right? I am really gravitating more and more towards that business coaching strategy because in nurse coaching or in coaching world in general, I'm seeing a lot of positive toxicity around it
Hmm.
and a lot of BS. I'm just gonna call it what it is. Buy this and then buy this and then this shiny object and then this shiny
Yeah.
object. And people are spending shit ton of money and they're not getting results.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I've done a lot because my business, my B2Bs are always gonna grow. Like that's obviously it's a relationship. I come in, but I do see myself now leaning more into the corporate nurse coach accelerator and really wanting to help other coaches or nurse coaches scale their business to have a very empowering community that,
Mm-hmm.
we're really gonna sit here and help each other grow, you know? I always tell people if you want to and one of my coaches told me this, and it was a good reminder that he did, was if you want to go far, go alone. But if you want to go farther, go with a community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like that old parable or yeah, the old proverb. Like, yeah, it was if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I actually kind of collapse it together because I think if you want to go fast and far, go together in a community with a mentor or whatever, because that's
correct.
how you get those quantum leaps and whatnot. And you need the support of the community. Like, that's a non-negotiable in my world
Yeah,
because I'm no longer here for this lone wolf doing it on our own solo things. Like, no, we're here to rise together and to collaborate. Like, there's no such
yes.
thing as competition because there's so much work
No,
that needs to be done. We need to collaborate and champion one another. And that's
exactly.
one of the big reasons I started this podcast because I want to highlight and champion people like you who are doing amazing work all over the globe. I've met so many different people, right? And we're all doing our work in our space. And
Right.
those who are we are called to reach, that's who needs to like they'll come to our voice, right? And there's more
Exactly.
than enough for all of us, right? So yeah, I'm all about like community and support because that's how we go fast and far. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love
Because you
that.
just don't know who's going to show up in your life. I have no idea how
Yeah.
we met.
I know we laughed about that before, right? 'Cause it's like, how do we get connected? I don't know.
I really don't
Uh,
remember. I really still to this day, like I really don't know how. But
honestly, I don't know. It's so funny, but it was
but
meant to
the
be.
minute we reconnected via
Uh-huh. It's
like
like,
Instagram or something,
yeah.
I have no
I think it was,
idea.
yeah, Facebook, I don't know, whatever, but it
Yeah,
was just
but
like,
it's just
okay,
like
yeah.
that's when I tell people like the energy of the world is going to bring the people who are supposed to be in your world, whether as a client or as a supportive or as a
Yeah.
spectator or as a friend. Like you
Yeah.
just don't know, but don't always pawn it off like, oh my God, this is going to be my next client.
Oh
You
gosh.
know,
Yeah. No.
like
Right.
that's where I think a lot of people fail is that they get placed in these connections
Mm,
unintentionally. You know, I just call us an unintentional connection, but I don't know what the intention is, then I don't need to know what the connection is. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
I'm just gonna let it be where it needs to be because
Yeah.
I felt like
Just
I've
rolling
known
with
you
that.
forever and you're in my life or I'm in your life for a reason that
Exactly.
we don't need to worry. And here we are on this podcast.
Right? I know. It's
You
beautiful.
asked me, I said yes. I don't say yes to a lot of people doing podcasts anymore. So you said, oh, I'm like, great. You know,
Yeah.
that's why even today my husband's like, you're doing a podcast today? I was like, he's like, oh, who'd you say yes to? I was like, yep, no, I don't say yes to very many people anymore.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just, that's just how life is. Like, that's the part where I'm like, if I feel
Yeah.
the energy, I'm going to say yes and give you whatever you ask me, whatever you need. I'm just here to support. I'm here to expand and to help you grow in any way I can.
Same here. And I think it goes back to that bit of an intuition, right? There's like a when you feel it when you know it, right? Because like again, we can't really pinpoint how we
No.
got connected, but there's something there and it's like, okay, I'm gonna go with that because I can feel it and it's
Yeah.
like this is good. Like, okay, here we go. Yeah, no, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being open and being curious to what comes. Yeah, so it's good.
Mm. Curiosity.
Yes.
A lot of
Being
people
quiet.
miss that in coaching world.
Mm,
It goes back to the intuition. They're not curious enough to open up another door. Again, going back to quantum physics and all this other stuff. But curiosity is what propels you.
mm, yeah, I agree. Oh, this has been a great conversation, Bina. Okay, so as we're starting to wrap up here, I wanted a couple questions I'd like to ask,
Sure.
but one being for the people who are listening today,
Mm,
who have maybe felt that tug to step into their iconic life, whatever that is for
mm,
them, whatever very unique for them, but they haven't yet stepped fully into it.
mm.
What is maybe a truth that you would like them to know, or something you would encourage them in, or something you would like a challenge that you would lovingly give to them today?
I would challenge you to listen to it.
Mm,
I would challenge you to listen to it, journal it out, voice it out, and declare it. Step into it, you know,
yeah.
whatever that may be. And it could be, I want, you're struggling with finances. Maybe you're struggling in your relationship. Maybe you're struggling in your sex life. I don't know, right? But
Hmm.
it's that level of intuition that's like, I want this particular thing to change. Doesn't necessarily mean we're doing like coaching and a TEDx and all this other what they people call big stuff, right? It starts with the littlest thing in life, you
Yes.
know? Like step into that power of how can you make
Mm.
yourself better? Because no one's coming for you. Like no one's helping you, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to ask for help. You
Yeah.
pay for help. But in reality, you need to, if that intuition is coming to you, declare it. Think,
Yeah.
journal, however you will have to release it. If you don't know how to release it, reach out to one of us, because the minute you realize that you're stuck and you just don't know what you don't know,
Hmm.
it's a dangerous place to be sometimes because that's what gets people stuck. But if you're curious about what you don't know, and if you're curious about, hey, I don't know this, and this is a weird feeling, then explore that, however
Yeah.
that may be for you. Because then
Yeah.
you will know.
Right. And it's so, like I said, like it's so specific and unique to each individual
Yeah.
because I can't, like, you and I can't tell, like,
No.
what you need to do. No, this is about you and your soul's call. Like you're
Yeah,
remembering that identity. And absolutely, we can walk alongside you in it, but it is
it's your
your
journey.
decision. You're choosing you. You're
Yeah,
listening to that voice and that call. And it's such a powerful, stretchy place to be, right?
yeah,
Like on the edge of that growth, but like get curious, get interested, start looking, open up that door to possibility and watch miracles happen. Yeah. I wouldn't choose any other way, right? It's not
yeah.
that it's always easy. We know this, right? But it's like it's such a
So,
beautiful place to be. I would never change it.
yeah,
Um, like I always kind of joke, like one of the reasons like I'm an entrepreneur is because of the personal growth and development that I do all the time, because that it requires that of me as I go to next levels is to grow myself. And
yeah,
I love it. I love
yeah.
seeing who I'm becoming and how like I don't even recognize myself from a year ago, right? Like
No.
the changes, the growth, the confidence that I built, like
Mm-mm.
that is the beauty of this journey, and I wouldn't change it. Yeah,
I wouldn't do that either. It's yeah, that I mean, I can't say anything more or less about that just because just a big believer. If you've met me even 10 years ago, I'm not the same Bina who I am today.
yeah,
I tell people I'm not the same person who you met yesterday because every day is a new day.
hmm
And
hmm
again, I live in the presence. So it's just take what is in front of you for granted and gratitude that back. And
yeah.
you just
There you go.
there you are. That's all I can say. I don't know.
Yeah,
It doesn't
exactly.
make any sense. And I know it doesn't make any sense. Someone's like, I don't get
And you got
it.
it right, and
I
yet it's
don't get it.
amazing. Yeah,
Guess what? I didn't get it either until I did
exactly.
the work.
And then you're like, oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
100%. All right. So as we're wrapping up here, where can people find you online?
I'm pretty big. I'm pretty big out there. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. I'm not on TikTok. So, I mean, I may be on TikTok. My team may have thrown me on TikTok,
Right, surprise.
but I'm on every other social handle with just Bina Bendale. If you type it in, it'll pop up.
Perfect. All right. And we'll put it in the show notes and all that thing as well, so everybody can find you as well. If you guys are interested in working with Bina or just curious about what next steps are and things like that, I encourage you to reach out. Okay. And then as we're closing, just a few fun questions I like to
Oh, I
ask
love
all
those.
my guests. Favorite food or drink that you, or currently, or one that you just love wholeheartedly.
Favorite drink is chai.
Mm, yum.
That's
Especially now
why
when it's starting to get like fall weather here finally.
I
I'm like, ooh, give me some chai.
I drink chai. That is my go-to.
Yum.
I can have
Yum.
that, I make an authentic Indian chai at home.
Mm,
So,
yes.
yeah, I just chai is my go-to drink.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Favorite food?
Mashed potatoes.
Really? Okay, so like homemade or like powder, like what's
No,
your
homemade
okay.
mashed potatoes.
I
Like
was
it needs to be
just
homemade
checking.
with a
Okay.
little bit of cream,
Yeah.
a little
Hmm.
salt, like a little bit of
Yep.
chives.
Yep.
And it needs to be airy and fluffy. There, you have to have a good mashed potato. If you start
Yeah.
giving me that rubbery Mother King, it's like we're just gonna throw it
We're
out. We're
not
just
doing
gonna throw it out.
that.
Okay,
Okay, I
we're
was
not.
just checking because like I yeah. Ooh.
No,
Hmm.
no, mm-mm. You can make
Again,
your mashed
speaking
potatoes
about
very, very quickly at home, everybody.
right? I
Just
know it's
peeling the
not
potatoes
hard.
is just the hardest part.
True story. I have found that like I'll quarter a potato and then boil it with the skin
Yeah,
on. It gives a little different of taste
yeah. Then you
texture, but
just
I
peel
actually
it.
like it. Yeah, and then it just falls right off and
Peels
you're
right
done.
off.
It's so easy, not hard at
Or
all.
if you
Yeah.
just cut it in halves and then like put it in a pressure cooker and you pressure
Oh
cook it
yeah.
for like, three or like what is this like 6 minutes or something. And then
Okay.
you like let it cool, like put cold water in it and let it cool. It peels right off.
Yeah,
And
it
it's
just slides
okay
right
to
off.
eat a potato skin.
Right. Smashed potatoes, right? Is that what they call it when you have this? Because
Right. But
sometimes I will
see,
do that
like,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I have to remind people like you can also like take whatever you want, but it doesn't have to be a perfect peeled potato. And then you just mash it with still all your likings and stuff in it,
And
and
make
it's
it delicious.
delicious. Yeah, but I do love a good mashed potato.
I'm right there with you. Okay, favorite or we can have a dream vacation spot or maybe one that you're planning on going to next. Any kind of fun stuff like that.
Well, we are planning to go to San Diego, but that is not my dream location because I got children. Like, Actually, my dream vacation spot is actually Fiji. Me and my husband went there
Mm.
for a honeymoon 14 years ago or 13 years ago, however long we're married now.
Okay.
And Fiji, and I would love to go back.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be like, I would love to go back. I'd
It's on
love
our
that.
list. My husband, that's where he wants to go. And for us, not with the kids, obviously.
Right,
Because
that's what
yeah,
I'm saying. I don't want to do it with my
right,
kids.
right. It's a little different.
Yeah.
Yes, but so that's on our list as well. So
So pretty because we went there and it's just the beaches were beautiful and they do
mm,
have childcare like on these islands. It is freaking
yeah,
amazing. It's
yeah.
part of your hotel package. Like it's amazing.
It's
Uh
it's a flight that
that
for me at least coming from the East Coast, I'm like, I don't think I want to do long flights like that with kids. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's like a
okay.
10-hour flight. But
Mm.
it's a little less for you.
Is it less? I think no, I don't know. It
No,
was
it's
it was
more.
a I was gonna say it was
No,
a
it's
chunk of change, and I was
more.
looking or time chunk of time.
Yeah,
I was looking, so I was
no.
like,
It's more for you
mm-mm,
because you add the three
mm-hmm,
hours. For me, it's 10
mm-hmm.
hours.
Which 10 hours
Uh,
is a lot, but then yeah, no, I was like, oh,
yeah, we would
yeah,
have to
we'll make
break
that
it up. We'd have
apparent.
to go to Hawaii first, and then from
Right.
Hawaii, we'd have to like
I'd be okay with that.
stop
Oh
at an
man.
island. It's fine.
Thank you so much. This has been a fun, good conversation. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
thank you for saying yes and for sharing with us. Appreciate it. And we'll tag you and whatnot online so everybody can listen to this goodness. But yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Well, thank you again for joining us today for this beautiful conversation. Remember, you guys, every choice we make leaves a mark, so make them wisely, right? Our most iconic lives are not waiting for us in the someday out there. It's the ones that we choose and create from the right now, this present moment. So if today's conversation stirred something inside of you, share this episode with a friend. Leave us a review and let us know, like, give us some feedback. Find us online. I love to hear from you guys. Love to hear your breakthroughs, your aha moments, what landed most with you or resonated with you guys. But yeah, we'd love to hear more from you and help us spread this movement of men and women who are living, leading, and loving iconically. See you back here next time.